Well, the big freeze is over, and that's quite a relief. I got down to minus 6.7 in here, so probably about minus 7 outside, and everything's looking pretty good. I've lost the odd lettuce here and there. Some beds are sort of looking a little bit mouldy. I've lost one cabbage, one spring cabbage, but apart from that, everything's looking pretty good. And yeah, I've got everything all opened up outside. Let's go and have a look actually. So I'm just drying off all the fleeces. Oops, so it looks a bit like a laundry out here. And I've got all my beds all opened up, and give them a bit of fresh air. They're not looking too bad. I mean, there's the odd lettuce like that one, for example, that's been lost. But I mean, bear in mind, all this needs to be cleared by the end of the month anyway. So I'm not sort of overly concerned with anything. You know, I've got a few beds here. Yeah, not too great. But the new plants, they're all looking really happy with themselves. Got to clear this bed soon as well. I need to get this replanted with Asian greens. So I'm going to clear most of the decent leaves off this bed today for our weekly harvest. But yeah, spinach is all looking okay down there. New little lettuces down there. And the spinach in here. Yeah, it's all looking reasonable. Not great, but you know, reasonable. Soon pick up when we get to February. So yeah, kind of happy with the state of affairs. We did get a light frost last night, but you know, I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 degrees now, something like that, so it's quite pleasant out in the sunshine. And I'm actually quite pleased with these leaves. It's got a decent amount of crunch to them, and that's not because they're frozen, they've defrosted now. But I will be pleased to get this bed cleared and replanted. I always love getting beds cleared and replanted. They're not, the thing is, you know, picking lettuces now in January, you're not going to get any significant regrowth by February, so you may as well pick everything and get it replanted, really. You know, if it was February, you might be asking yourself, you know, is it worth giving the plants a chance to recover? But not at this time of year. Just pick any decent leaves and move on. So I'm picking the Grenoble Reds and the Roxys from this bed. And I've got some little kales in here. Honestly, I'm not sure whether I'm going to leave them or not, or whether I'm going to put just the Asian greens in here. I think I might leave the little kales because there's a possibility that the Asian greens might finish, you know, they might go to seed, say in March or something like that. They might not, they might carry on a bit longer. But if they did, I could leave these kales to grow on a little bit. At this time of year, I'm only picking for Debbie and I, Jenny and John, Tess and Ollie, Robin and Willow, and Eleanor. So not, you know, it's not very many people. So I don't need huge quantities. Well, I've got a nice selection of lettuce. Just picking a few tatsoi and red pak choi now. And I'm going to be clearing that bed at the end there with miner's lettuce, because I've got loads here. And as I say, I'm always looking for opportunities to create space for replanting at this time of year. But this is looking like quite a respectable salad mix. And of course I've got loads of stuff at home that I'm going to add to it. So I'm back on the allotment. I've just brought all these little plant seedlings and the plants that are harvesting out of big trays back onto the allotment from the house. I've made a video all about it, so I won't go into too much detail, but yeah, it makes it really nice in here to see it sort of so full and vibrant. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy sitting in here when the sun comes out, but for now I'm going to get on with a bit of weeding. So you might remember when I took the tops off these carrots that I put a few Asian greens in here, mainly as a sort of test to see if there's any lingering slug issues. And actually they've all survived pretty well, but plenty of Asian greens, but you can see the just ridiculous number of weeds that there are in this bed. So I'm going to go through this bed now, basically try and get everything cleaned out, because I need to get this bed replanted pretty soon. So yeah, I'm going to take a bit of soil out as well, because these weeds are small and it's hard to pull them out without taking some soil. But it's all going to go back into the compost, so never mind. That is looking so much better now. Obviously there's still a few weeds, but I'll sort of clear those out when I start replanting. I'm going to put radish in here. I've got some radish ready to go pretty soon, so yeah, that'll be good. And then eventually in May, this is going to be cabbages, red cabbages and Savoy cabbages a bit later on down there. So yeah, that timing is going to work quite nicely. Always looking for good timings. And the carrots generally sort of start to lose quality by the end of April, so they'll be all out by then. So this bed is the most disappointing of the year so far. This is the bed that did have my salad onions in it, and you can see they've basically just all been destroyed by that really cold weather. I've got more salad onions coming, but I haven't got any undercover ones, so I'm now in a kind of race to get loads of salad onions grown as quickly as possible. Fortunately I've got some new ones as well, and this bed is now going to be spinach. I'm not going to plant it out until maybe the middle of February, and it'll go under fleece. This bed's nicely designed for fleece because the tops of the bed are about 2 or 3 inches above the soil level, which is kind of perfect for providing fleece with good protection, whilst avoiding having the fleece actually lying directly onto the spinach leaves themselves. So I'm going to get on with weeding this. So you might have noticed that I've made a start on this strawberry bed. It is quite a soggy, horrible mess. Just trying to get rid of all these old runners. I quite like the idea of growing strawberries in wood chip, so I think I might try mulching them. I mean, it's always a problem because you don't really want to bury the crowns, and it's kind of inevitable that if you mulch them that you're going to do that. But I think it's worth the effort for me, well, the risk rather, for me, because it's a way of keeping the weeds down. And I have mulched actually, I've topped the whole of the plot with wood chip over the last couple of days as well, and it's looking so nice, so fresh. The smell of all that pine. It's quite a green mix that we had dumped on the plot, but I don't really mind. I know it'll rot down quicker, but the smell is just it's fantastic. After the sort of musty smell of winter, to get this sort of vibrant, piney smell in the air, it's lovely. So that bed might look like a brown mess to you on camera, but actually, you know, most of the debris has been cleared away, and yeah, just getting this bit of the path mulch now. And as I say, almost certainly in a few minutes I'm going to motivate myself to get one more barrow load of wood chip and smother this bed, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. So I don't normally wear gloves, but this is definitely a job for it. I'm going to brush the wood chip deep down in between the plants so that they push through, but there's a good inch or two of mulch on top of them, and you can just see the crowns of the plants kind of poking through. So I think that's going to work actually really quite nicely. And I've given them a bit of a feed, just some poultry manure pellets underneath there, so that should be pretty good. This is all part of my strategy to dramatically reduce the amount of watering that I have to do on the plot. So my plan is to plant lettuce in between all these carrots, which means I need to take the tops off these again to give me plenty of space. I've already taken the tops off once back in what was it, October I think, so they're not too bad. It doesn't hurt the carrots because obviously they're fully grown, and I actually don't want them growing particularly actively when we go into spring. I'm just quite happy for them to have a little bit of leaf just to keep themselves alive, and to give me loads of space in between them to get the lettuces out by the time I need to replant this bed, which is in May. Well, I'm delighted with that. There's going to be a lot of weeds come up obviously, but I've cleared an enormous number of weeds and it's looking really lovely. And actually one of the reasons I like this planting scheme is that the ferny sort of carrots as a sort of like underplanting under the lettuces that just look really lovely in spring, and I'm all for bed sort of planting a veg that looks really lovely. And you might remember that sometimes in October I plant lettuces in here as well, rather than plant them in sort of January, February time. But that's when it's in, the carrots are in that bed there, and that bed gets a lot more sun than this bed does. This is pretty shady, and so it, you know, really February is probably a better planting time than October. So yeah, roll on next week and make good progress clearing this spinach bed. Spinach is about 2.5 weeks away from planting, so I'm not too bothered really about losing the salad onions. I can bear it. Well, after all that barrowing of wood chip, I'm pretty knackered, so I'm pleased to have finally got this harvest done. I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, we are running short of quite a few things at the moment, but we've got plenty of carrots, we've got plenty of Jerusalem artichokes, plenty of parsley, hardly any kale. We are really short on kale this year. I have to remember that next year. Maybe plant a little bit more. Potatoes were fine, beetroot were fine. Got loads of Brussels actually. Started to pick a few more colettes and just a few sprout tops and things just to make up the sort of deficit in the kale. But we have got plenty of red cabbages left. That is the last Savoy cabbage. So we're going to be even more tight on brassicas next week. But, you know, fortunately we've got loads of other stuff. So we've got loads of leeks, let's say loads of, there, the salad carrots, and loads of smoothie greens, looking quite nice. Plenty of squash, loads and loads of onions and garlic and shallots and things like that. All of these are for the salads. So Claytonia, which we've got a little bit of left, not a huge amount, you know, I don't know, 5 weeks or something. We've got loads of lamb's lettuce, reasonable amount of spinach, reasonable amount of beet leaf greens, actually quite a lot of Asian greens, and just about to plant the next batch of Asian greens, and that's the red stem patcha and whatever, and reasonable amount of tatsoi. Just about to plant some more of that. Carrots, tomatoes from the supermarket. I don't know whether I mentioned the squash, but plenty of squash. Quite short now on lettuce until the existing lettuce bed in the polytunnel kind of starts to regrow. Clearing my outdoor beds of lettuce now to get them all replanted. So got one outdoor bed of lettuce which is not in fantastic condition, but we'll still get a few weeks of harvest off that, and then hopefully we'll be in the middle of February and growth will start to pick up in the polytunnel, provided it's sunny. So yeah, it's not bad for this time of year, but yeah, definitely feeling it now in terms of the sort of pressure to pick a little bit more, perhaps in some cases, than I'd like to, in order to keep us going, in the hope that things will pick up soon. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel. I'll see you soon.